Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ben with Eretabe Gardens in Georgia, Zone 7. Today's video is on how to fertilize fig trees with soluble fertilizer and slow release fertilizer. I've received this question on how to fertilize fig trees. I've made videos on how to fertilize with soluble fertilizer separate from slow release fertilizer separate, 2 videos. But today's video, I want to combine them into one. And then today's video is on how to fertilize fig trees that have no figs on it. If your fig trees have figs on it, then it's a different fertilizer or a different NPK. If your fig trees have figs already, they need more of phosphorus than nitrogen. But if your fig trees have no figs, then they need more of nitrogen. And today's video is on fig trees that have no figs. So this video is to show you how to fertilize the fig trees with soluble fertilizer, which you have to mix with water, and slow release fertilizer that takes time to break down. It can take between 1 to 3 months for it to break down. That's why it's called slow release fertilizer. It is released slowly into the soil for the roots of your fig trees to absorb the fertilizer. And that's why you need to give them both. Soluble fertilizer, you mix it with water, and then they take it in instantly. Immediately, they are able to take it in. By slow release fertilizer, you break it down. And what I do is that every week, I give my fig trees soluble fertilizer every week. You can give them every week, you can give them every other week. But I give them every week soluble fertilizer because the slow release fertilizer will not be available for them immediately. It will take a while. So that's why you give them both. And then when they start producing figs, then you have to change the NPK of your soluble fertilizer and your slow release fertilizer, because your slow release fertilizer should have more of phosphorus also to help them produce good fruits. So let me show you how to fertilize your fig trees with soluble fertilizer and slow release fertilizer. Now that some of my fig trees have woken up, I need to give them soluble fertilizer. Now, soluble fertilizer is a fertilizer you mix with water and you give it to them and then they take it in immediately. That is soluble fertilizer. And then also slow release fertilizer is the one that you give to them and it breaks down slowly. It takes a while for it to break down. So while the slow release is breaking down slowly, then you will give them soluble fertilizer. Let me show you. This is soluble fertilizer. Now I want you to look at the NPK right here. NPK means nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. 24 here is for nitrogen, 8 is for phosphorus, and 16 is for potassium. Right now, what I'm concentrating on is the nitrogen, because I want the plants or the trees to grow quick. So you give them fertilizer that is full of nitrogen right now. So this soluble fertilizer has nitrogen as the highest here. Now phosphorus is for the fruit, and then potassium is for the root and the health of the tree. So right now nitrogen has the highest number. So I'm going to give them this fertilizer that is full of nitrogen, and also I will add fish fertilizer. If you look at the NPK, is 5 for nitrogen, 1 for phosphorus, and 1 for potassium. So right now all I need to give my fig tree right now is fertilizer that is full of nitrogen to help them to grow. And then when they start producing fruit, then I will change the fertilizer. So, and also here I have my water can is 2 gallons. So what I would do is that with the with this plant food, you give them 1 tablespoon per gallon. 1 tablespoon per gallon. That is it. 1 tablespoon per gallon. That is 1. 2. So 2 tablespoons for 2 gallons of water. So also fish fertilizer, 1 tablespoon per gallon, but I give more than 1 tablespoon. So I'm going to give 3 tablespoons to 2 gallons of water instead of 2 tablespoons to 2 gallons of water. But because my fig tree this year, they are behind in growth because of the 12 degrees temperature, weather temperature that we had in winter that affected all of my fig trees. I know some of my fig trees will not come back to life. Some will and some will not. But now that they've started coming out, this is May. This year I don't have any breba on my trees. So now I want to give them more of nitrogen to help them to grow faster so that I can get some figs this year. So what you want to do is that you want to shake. You have to shake the fish fertilizer. You have to shake it. All right. Okay, so that's 1 tablespoon. That's 2, which is the required thing, but I'm going to give it 1 more. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to add water, shake up the content in the water can, shake it, then add more water. So let's go and feed the trees. Okay, I've mixed it with water, so now I'm going to give only the trees that have woken up. Like these ones, I'm not going to give them. There is nothing on these ones, but this one here, yes. And what I do when I give them is that I don't give them so much that it will be wasting. You see them leaking out of the container. To me, that is a waste. I just give them enough, because this is five gallon container. So I'm giving them enough that will go down and not to leak out, because that is a waste. So now this is my Valor de Bordeaux. It has leaves on the branches, so it's not growing from the root. So see, I don't want to waste. This is my brown turkey, so I'm going to give it some. That will be enough, and not to waste it. Now here, there is a new growth here. Okay, there is a bump there, so I'll give it to help it. Here is my lemon fig tree. So this is my Nero 600M. This is my Dr. Gowadi or Dr. Gowati. So now this is my Eretabe JH. I saw a bump before. Okay, well, this is my Asiano. And then here is my LSU Improve Celeste. So I will come back and give it some more soluble fertilizer. So this is what I'm doing this morning to feed all of my fig trees that have woken up with soluble fertilizer. Because with soluble fertilizer, they will drink it immediately and it will help them to start growing. And then when I give them the slow release fertilizer, that will take time to break down. While the fertilizer is in the soil, it will break it down slowly. Every time it rains, every time I water them, it will help to break down the slow release fertilizer. Out of my 7 in-ground fig tree, only 2 came back. This one and that one. So I'm going to share these 2 gallons of soluble fertilizer with the 2. 1 gallon for this and 1 gallon for the other one. It does not mean because it is in the ground, you cannot give it soluble fertilizer, you can, because it will help it to grow faster. So I poured the first one so that the ground can take it in before I'll add more. And that will help this new growth to grow faster. Because I want to eat fig from this tree this year. It's possible. It might ripe late. This is my Texas Blue Giant fig tree. I may not get fruit early. If I will get fruit, it might be late this year. And I pray that we will not experience the 12 degrees temperature again, so that all of my trees can keep growing. Okay, I'll give it one more, and that will be it. So I want it to come down this way too. Okay, I think I still have a little bit more for 1 gallon. Usually I give each tree the 2 gallons, but because they're still young and I want to help the trees to grow quicker, so because the plant is still young. All right, so this is my Olympian. So I'll give it the first one so it can soak into the ground. Hopefully next year I will get a Breba from this plant, from this tree here. Okay, let me add some more. And then let it soak it in. Well, I'll wait for the soluble fertilizer. I'll wait for the soil to soak in the soluble fertilizer, but this is all I'm doing today. Just give it this and that's it. You've seen how I feed my fig trees with soluble fertilizer. So now this is the slow release fertilizer I'm using this year, chicken manure. And we all know that chicken manure is a good organic fertilizer. All natural plant food. Now this chicken manure is hydrated and is now granulated. It is hydrated with solar power. And this is a company that have been doing this since 1929. I have been using this product for years now. I've made videos with it before. So I'm not promoting, or the company is not promoting this video. But because it's a good product, I love to share information with my subscribers. So this is my slow release fertilizer for this year. In fact, I bought this from Tractor Supply. That's where I normally buy my chicken manure from. Now let me show you something here. Okay. Look at the NPK. 5 for nitrogen, 3 for phosphorus, and 2 for potassium. That is it right there. Look at it. Nitrogen, 5%. That's it right there. And then you see phosphate, that's phosphorus, 3%. And then potassium, 2%. But look at 8% right here. Calcium, 8%. Now, I've made video fertilizing fig trees with eggshell powder. But because this has calcium in it, I'm not going to use eggshell powder. This year, I'm not going to fertilize my fig tree with eggshell powder. Why? There is calcium here. And it's even 8% more than 5% for nitrogen. So, I'm going to use this as my slow release fertilizer this year. So let me show you how it looks like and how to apply it. Now let me show you how this looks. Look at it. That is chicken manure for you. You see? So this is how I'm going to use it. Let me put it back to the side. Look at it. So that is the chicken manure. So I'm going to pour it and then I'm going to walk it into the soil. You see, I'm walking it into the soil. And that is it. I've walked it. You see, if you don't walk it into the soil, you just put it on it and leave it. When you give it water or it rains, after a while, the manure will become moldy. And you don't like that. You won't like that. So you have to walk the manure into the soil, mix it with the soil, walk it in, let the manure go into the soil. Don't just leave it at the top. it will become moldy and you will not like it. It will attract all kinds of disease to your tree. So that is it. So now I'm going to do the same to all of these trees. So this is how I'm feeding my fig tree this year, with chicken manure as a slow release fertilizer. Because as you see it this way, see, it will take months for it to break down finally. So you need to give it early so it will keep breaking down slowly. As you water it, as it rains, it will be breaking down slowly into the soil for the roots of your fig trees to start taking in the manure. So this is what I'm doing this year. Now the next thing to do is to give it water. So let it start its work. Let it start breaking down. So every time you water your fig tree, it will soften the chicken manure because it is granulated now. So it takes time. It will take time to break it. But every time you water it, every time it rains, it keeps breaking it gradually into the soil. And then the roots will take it in. So you've seen how I feed my fig tree with soluble fertilizer. And now you've seen how I feed my fig trees with slow release fertilizer. Organic slow release fertilizer. Chicken manure. You can use cow manure as long as it is not fresh. But if you're going to use a fresh manure, it's better you turn it into soluble fertilizer. Mix it with water and you can give it to your plant. Now this is my in-ground fig tree that is coming back also, that came back to life after the mother tree died. So now this is coming back. So also I'm going to give it slow release fertilizer to help it to grow faster too. Yes, I know that it is in the ground, but it needs support too. So I'm working it into the soil also. You have to work it into the soil. See? I'm working it into the soil. Okay. So the next I'm going to do, I'm going to give it water too. So every time it rains, every time I water it, it will break the slow release fertilizer. I know as in-ground tree, the roots get food from the ground, but giving it slow release fertilizer will help it to grow faster. Look at it, you know. So this is it. Okay, let me show you the two in-ground fig trees that came back to life. Out of 9 fig trees in the ground, 7 have not come back, and they're dead completely, even though they were in the ground. But this is my Texas blue giant. Oh, something came to dig here. It must be squirrel. A squirrel came to dig that place. You can see how it has grown. You saw when I gave it slow release fertilizer, soluble fertilizer, and here is the second one. And look at this one. You remember this in the video? Look at that. You remember this? But look at how tall it is now. So I'm going to cut off this old one from somewhere here, from the bottom there, and then let this one keep growing. This is Olympia, and let it keep growing. So thank you for watching this video. If this is your first time of watching my video, thank you for spending your precious time watching my video. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and click on the notification bell. Click on all, so that every time I upload new video, you will be notified. And I want to thank all of my subscribers. I appreciate you. I appreciate your support. So I will see you guys in my next video. God bless you. You real good. Bye.